Today we begin the unveiling of Revelation 11, but not the whole vision. We stop at the threshold, verses 1 and 2. Because these two verses are not what most people think them to be. They are layered, charged, foundational. They hold the position of the world itself, the standing of nations, the verdict of heaven. Everything bends from here. The heavens were heavy, the scrolls of prophecy waiting. Every word spoken by the prophets was a fuse, waiting for the spark. And then it came, the moment of rejection. Messiah stood before his people, offering covenant, offering life, and they turned away. That refusal was not silence, it was thunder. It was the trigger. It was the detonation. The visions of Daniel, the revelations of John, all set in motion. From that instant, history bent toward desolation and restoration, toward trampling and kingdom, toward the courtroom verdict that would echo across ages. He shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. This is not a broken covenant. This is not a failed offering. This is the covenant fulfilled, Messiah himself sealing it with his blood. The daily sacrifices, lambs, bulls, oblations, shadows on the wall. The cross, the greater sacrifice, the final altar, the substance. When he cried, "It is finished," heaven thundered. The covenant stands unbroken. Revelation 11:1 is the echo. The temple measured, the worshipers marked. Rise and measure the temple of the Most High, and the altar, and them that worship therein. The reed in John's hand is no fragile stalk. It is the rod of divine authority. Measuring here means marking, sealing, preserving. The Most High is saying, "These are mine. These worshipers belong to me." Daniel 9:27 ties directly into this moment. Messiah confirmed the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week, he caused the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. His death was the greater sacrifice, the cross the final altar. The daily offerings ended, but not by destruction, by fulfillment. Heaven thundered, "It is finished." So when John measures the temple, it is the Most High declaring that the covenant is confirmed, because Messiah's blood seals forever what animal sacrifices only shadowed. It is the Most High declaring that the sacrifice has ceased, because the cross silences the altar, yet fulfills it with finality and power. And it is the Most High declaring that the temple is measured, because worshipers are marked, the covenant is preserved, and faithfulness is sealed in the Lamb's blood. The measured temple is not stone walls. It is the covenant people themselves, sealed in the Lamb's blood. Even though the sacrifices have ceased, the covenant stands unbroken, because the greater sacrifice has already been offered. The sacrifices ceased, yes, but the covenant? Alive. The offerings ended, yes, but the greater sacrifice speaks louder than all of them. Daniel saw it, John measured it, Messiah fulfilled it. The covenant confirmed in Daniel 9:27 is the same covenant preserved in Revelation 11:1. The reed rises, the temple is measured, the altar is marked, the worshipers sealed. But then the command shifts. Leave out the outer court. Do not measure it. Do not mark it. Do not seal it. Why? Because it is given to the Gentiles.
And the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months. Revelation 11:2. The holy city is not merely land. It is his covenant people. Ezekiel saw this judgment of the holy city forming. Ezekiel 22:15-21. And I will scatter thee among the heathen, and disperse thee in the countries, and will consume thy filthiness out of thee. And thou shalt take thine inheritance in thyself in the sight of the heathen, and thou shalt know that I am the Most High. Son of man, the house of Israel is to me become dross. All they are brass and tin and iron and lead in the midst of the furnace. They are even the dross of silver. Therefore, thus saith the Most High, because ye are all become dross, behold, therefore I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem, as they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace, to blow the fire upon it, to melt it. So will I gather you in mine anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. Yea, I will gather you and blow upon you in the fire of my wrath, and ye shall be melted in the midst thereof. This is the mystery of inheritance. Even scattered among the nations, his people still carry Jerusalem within themselves. Their covenant identity is their inheritance, and wherever they stand as Jerusalem. So when he gathers them into the midst of Jerusalem, it is not merely geography. It is the refining of his people in their inheritance. They cannot erase it. They cannot abandon it. They cannot sever themselves from it. Even in judgment, even in scattering, even in fire, they remain covenant people, and covenant people always stand in their inheritance. But the moment the covenant people rejected Messiah, the spark that detonated Daniel's visions, the ignition that set Revelation in motion, the covenant story shifted from shadow to substance, from altar to cross, from sacrifice to fulfillment. And what followed was the visible judgment, the holy city trodden underfoot, the covenant people scattered and worn down, the inheritance refined in the furnace. This is the vision fulfilled. Ezekiel's furnace, Revelation's trampling, Daniel's wearing down, all converging into one event. The Gentiles trampling the holy city, the covenant people, while the Most High purges his own in the midst of Jerusalem. As you can see, the layers, the charge, the foundation, all contained in just these 2 verses. The Most High has set in motion the beginning of his kingdom on earth to the end of their kingdom. And it starts with a measurement and a covenant, a judgment and a refinement, a restoration and a sealing. Because the kingdom is refined in the furnace of affliction, Isaiah 48:10. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. Refined in fire, sealed in covenant, marked by divine measurement, preserved until the appointed time. That's all for this section, but you do not want to miss the next unveiling. For in the next episode, we step into Revelation 11:3. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy. This is another mystery the Most High is unveiling. The 2 witnesses are not shadows. They are living torches, prophetic flames burning in the midst of desolation. They stand before the Elohim of the earth, not as fragile men, but as pillars of testimony and prophecy, charged with divine authority. Their words will shake nations. Their prophecy will pierce the storm. Their witness will mark the appointed time, and their standing will declare that heaven's covenant is alive, even in the midst of trampling and desolation. So stay tuned to Thy Kingdom Come. Like, share, subscribe, because the mysteries deepen and the kingdom rises.